One of the biggest obstacles for filmmakers looking to create their next masterpiece is how expensive the production process can be. Besides the cost of crew, locations, and the on-screen production value, gear can be a huge expense, especially when the equipment needs to be rented for each new project. But with the expanding digital market, the demand for content has exploded, creating a new, accessible market for lower-budget, quality productions. The last 2 decades have seen an explosion of companies manufacturing competitive, cinema-quality equipment at an affordable price. One such company, Zhiyun, provided me with their lightweight, versatile CinePeer CX100 and one of their most powerful contributions to the market, the Molus G300 light, to review. Let's start with the smaller of the two, the CinePeer CX100. Out of the box, which comes with customized foam for storing the light, you get a 100-watt LED light with a 4500 mAh battery, a protective rubber cover for the diode, and a small square pattern reflector that shares some similarities to Aputure's hyperreflector. It also comes with a USB-C to USB-C charging cable for the battery, though there is no adapter to plug it into a standard outlet. The CX100 is a 100-watt equivalent LED fixture that is extremely low profile and lightweight, coming in at only 710 grams, which can be a lifesaver on difficult-to-light sets. The design of the body is such that it is comfortable and easy to hold in your hand, perhaps why they call it a palm light. Out of the box, it is designed to sit flat on surfaces, run handheld, and it has a female 1/4 inch threaded hole that can be used to mount it to a support. The light has a non-standard ZY mount for the reflector, so if you want to use Bowens mount accessories like a softbox or a different reflector, you will have to shell out additional $30 for the Bowens adapter. Right away, the fixture feels very intuitive and easy to use. The design is simple, meaning it doesn't have much in the way of extra features and functions, but it does offer dimmable bicolor range with 2 easily accessible dials for adjustment. The labeling for color temperature and intensity on the dials is unfortunately quite hard to read, especially in low light. The dimming curve felt somewhat uneven and jumpy to me as I was testing it, particularly on the low end. There is no effective way to fine-tune below 10%, and the jump from 0 to the lowest intensity felt like quite a jump, literally, which could be problematic in some situations. That being said, at 100% intensity, the light packs a lot of punch for a 100-watt fixture. Starting with the battery at 100%, the light will last around 30 minutes, which isn't a very long time for most applications, but it supports the compatible power banks or power adapters to extend the runtime, although those are not included with the light. In future iterations, seeing a removable battery pack that could be swapped on the fly would be a huge improvement to the functionality and would extend the use life of the fixture, as you could swap the battery out of it as it starts to wear out on set. Zhiyun's active cooling system, which they call Dynavort, does a good job at dispersing what heat the light does generate. The fan system kicked in about 5 minutes of runtime, and it is reasonably quiet, although I did hear some quiet squeaking coming from the mechanism inside. At $170, it is almost half of the price of its closest competitor, the Amaran 100X. They share most of the same features, except the CX100 is out-of-the-box battery-powered, which is a good choice for a light of this size. Now let's put this one aside and move to what I think is Zhiyun's strongest addition to the market, the Molus G300. The Molus G300 box is designed as a carrying case, reinforced with custom-cut foam to protect the light. Out of the box, the kit includes the G300 fixture and an independent power adapter and controller, a protective cap for the diode, and a mounted 5/8 inches receiver for standard lighting stand spuds. It also includes a square pattern reflector that is secured with a standard Bowens mount, which is comparable in construction and performance to Aputure's hyperreflector. The Molus G300 is a base 300-watt bicolor COB light that boasts the unique Max Extreme mode, an overclocked mode that boosts it to 500 watts. Outside of the bicolor operation, the G300 has 14 pre-programmed lighting effects that offers some measure of customizability. It has a slick, low-profile design, and it's reasonably lightweight at 1.5 kilograms or 3.4 pounds. That tricked me into underestimating the output. With such a small footprint and high output, the G300 does generate a fair bit of heat, which is dissipated effectively through what Zhiyun calls their Dynavolt cooling system. The light can be operated using the independent controller or by Bluetooth using their app ZY Vega. On paper, the numbers and specs look pretty good, but it's time for the important part, putting those paper specs to the test. One of the litmus tests of a light is how simple it is to set up and use, especially considering the time pressure that exists on set. In this regard, the G300 scores pretty well. The light has only 2 primary components and can be up and running in under a minute. The head is set on a standard 5/8 inches spud, and then all that's left is to connect the power cable to the controller and the controller to the head, and you've got illumination. The fixture can be tilted 180 degrees, giving it one of the wider ranges of playable motion in the LED lighting world, and the 7.5 meters or 25-foot cable is long enough to allow from on-the-ground operation in most use cases. If you put your stand really high up, the controller is still going to be at the bottom. A point that impressed me is the quality of construction at the cable connections, both coming out of the controller and the connector at the light. These are the most vulnerable points in lights cabling, and I've seen far too many of the lower priced lighting options suffer because those connection points are pushed to the limit and break because of the low quality. Now that the easy part is over, how does the light hold up in operation? Let's start with the controller. At first glance, it is extremely intuitive, and its low-profile design and lightweight beats out most of its competitors in the price point, which is a huge bonus for on-set operation. 2 control knobs that are easy to access from the front and the back of the controller, even in the dark, control the intensity and color temperature. The user-friendly design and unique features the light offers can be a bit difficult to find if you are unfamiliar with the light, which is a common problem, and it can be frustrating for operators on set. Clicking both control knobs in, which I did find to be a little finicky to time correctly, will activate the light's max mode, taking it from a 300 watt output to a 500 watt, which is a very cool feature that can be both a time and space saver. Overall, one of the biggest boons of the G300 is its versatility in size. It's one of the smallest fixtures in its class, meaning it's very easy to squeeze into the tight, awkward spaces that always present a hassle. The ratcheting handle, long cable, and 180-degree tilt make the light easily adaptable to even the most awkward lighting scenarios. The fixture has a standard Bowens mount, which really maximizes the light's range and versatility. The downside of the compact size is that only so much functionality can be crammed into it, and some things are bound to fall by the wayside. In the case of the G300, the big one is heat dissipation. With so much punch packed into a small head, the G300 runs quite hot, and while Zhiyun's active cooling system does a good job of pumping the heat out of the light, it doesn't do it quietly. Professional and even prosumer microphones will pick up the fan noise. So how does the Molus G300 hold up compared to its competition? The G300 comes in just under $150 cheaper than the Lightstorm 300X, with the drawback that the aperture offers a bit more user customization. With the G300, you gain an extremely low profile fixture that can play as both the 300 watt and 500 watt light. So what do you think? Is the Molus G300 your next pick to add to your lighting kit? If it is, you can find a link to the store in the description, and let me know in the comments how it held up. I've been using mine for several months now, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm Zhiyun. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.